Fall is just around the corner, so it must be Oxford time. Way up north in the great state of Maine lies a 3/8 mile oval with one of the most unique and complicated pit lanes anywhere in racing. And boy, does it supply some exciting action. Tonight kicks off our portion of the Only Short Tracks 250 in the Sim Auto Racing Association, and it all starts with the Only Short Tracks Oxford 125. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Oxford, Maine. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Zach Burtis alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the Sim Auto Racing Association Impel Motorsports National Tour for the Only Short Tracks Oxford 125 and Oxford 250. Tonight's coverage is brought to you by Impel Motorsports, by Only Short Tracks, and by Whiplash Sim Cams. It's an exciting day for us this evening at the Oxford Plains Speedway. Qualifying has just begun, a 5-minute group qualifying session that we'll get into in just a moment. Zach, times are lighting up the scoring pylon, but for now, we take a look at this oddly shaped oval. I say it's oddly shaped, but it's probably as close to a true oval as you're going to get. I mean, you're always turning the wheel.
I mean, it's very, very close to a true oval. You're not wrong. You're always turning the wheel. You're always doing something here at Oxford. There's never really a time to relax. You're always on edge. You're always up on the wheel. And it's hard to save tires here, too, because if you don't hit the corner right, you don't take a good enough arc or a good enough line, you're just going to be burning tires every single spot on this track. It's such a tough track to handle. Not to mention, it's a little inverted as well. If you go up off the groove too far, it's banked in the opposite direction. It's like cresting over a hill. And I feel like that helps with a little bit of self-policing, kind of like at super speedways with the double yellow line. Not to mention, sausage curbs on the apron, dirt mounds in the infield. This track has all the characteristics of what could be a kid's obstacle course sometimes.
It's definitely a unique track here, and we're excited to get going this evening. Want to take a look at what's going on in qualifying so far. We don't have any points to go over. I do want to make a note as well. On the ticker, you will see some number graphics for drivers that are pulling the double, running the Only Short Tracks 125 here in the late model stock car, and also running the Only Short Tracks Oxford 250 that is happening here tomorrow night. So you will see drivers that are doubled up with those numbers there on your screen. Vorndran is one of them, Kieran Church another, RJ Williams, Matt Rolfe, a couple of others. I believe Matt Rolfe is playing admin duty tonight, but Steven Oberstadt is another driver that is playing double duty here in the number 8 car. So you will see them with their SARA number graphics on the ticker. The rest of these drivers that you see in just their normal yellow text number, those are drivers that are normally in the Only Short Tracks League. So Only Short Tracks is a short track league on iRacing that runs only short tracks. It's pretty well and simple in the name, Zach. They specialize in short track racing, and this is kind of a co-promotion deal with Only Short Tracks and with Sim Auto Racing Association to bring the two groups together and have some great racing this week, this Wednesday and Thursday. We had some great racing as well last night in mini stocks and street stocks. In those two races, it was Alex McCullum in the mini stock and Kyle Turzak in the street stock that went to victory lane. We are really set for some really great action. I'm excited for this one. This might be one of my favorite events on the National Tour calendar. I know there's only 8 this season compared to 12 last season, but this ranks right up there.
That it does. And I love everything that SARA does when it comes to how they encapsulate short track racing here on the iRacing.com sim. There's so much great stuff that goes on with these guys, and you know, I feel like we're also a little dipping into new territory here with a few of these drivers coming in. I mean, I walk in tonight, Andrew, you text me, you say, hey, it's a SARA broadcast tonight, be ready. So I'm like, okay. Then I'm expecting Ryan Kuhn, Joel Smith, Alex McCullum, Cole Cabrey, Daniel Pope, all of these normal guys. And now we've got a whole plethora of new drivers we get to talk about.
A lot of new drivers out there this evening, drivers that are at least new to Pit Stop TV that we have not covered here before. But of course, our mainstays in the Only Short Track series brought to you by Caudle Chassis. So definitely we'll have some getting used to do to begin the evening, as I just realized we got the wrong graphic up there. Let's change that over. There we go. It's got the Impel Motorsports National Tour logo on it. So yes, this is kind of a crossing of two worlds, if you will. I really do like this idea. You see this a lot lot in real short track racing. Think ASA Stars and Southern Super Series on the super late model side. So this is a really brilliant idea. I think this is bringing a lot of real world characteristics over to the iRacing.com sim and making some business out of it. So props to Matt Rolfe and everybody at Only Short Tracks and the Sim Model Racing Association for making this happen. Qualifying just wrapped up. Tanner Bethea on top in the 994. There he is. He's going to be scored in the 994 on track as number 20. Third is Carter Levi. Second is Kieran Church, and everybody comes to a very quick grinding halt. There's the 61 of Joshua Gaiman, and there is the 60 of Perry Davenport, and that will do it for qualifying as the time runs out. What we can do here, Zach, is take a look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details. This will be a 125 lap race, about 47 miles in total. No change sets, no chooses. Cautions will count in this 125 lap race with 2 green-white checkers, a fixed setup underneath these race cars, and no fast fix. So it's a little bit different from what we've come to expect with the Sim Model Racing Association, but that's what you get when you cross 2 leagues. You get some different rules and procedures, Zach, some things we might not be used to, and it's going to be interesting to see these rules on track this evening here on the channel. Let's go ahead and get down to the Whiplash SimCams, or rather Lucky Performance starting grid. On pole, we just mentioned Tanner Bethea leading qualifying. He will lead this race to the green. Kieran Church from second. Starting third and fourth, Carter Levi and Connor Knowlton in the number 2. Starting fifth and sixth, Lukey Shannon and Matt Vorndran. That's a name I got to get used to. Matt Vorndran there in the double lot. Starting from seventh, it'll be Kyle St. Jean. It'll be Ryan Pittman from the 8th position. RJ Williams and Justin Mulliken from your top 10.
Rolling outside the top 10, you've got Steven Oberstadt in 11th and Joshua Gaiman in the 12th position. 13th and 14th right behind them. You'll find Perry Davenport and Thomas Dean. 15th and 16th on the grid. Right behind those two, about halfway through the field, you will find Nicholas Giampa and Matt Huntington in the 15th and 16th starting position. 17th and 18th on the starting grid tonight. You'll find Jeremy Brudel and David Smeal, and 19th and 20th on the grid, you'll find Cody Panel and Riley Mauricio.
Back in 21st, I believe this will be an admin. That is Matt Rolfe. So 20 cars for this 125 lapper this evening. This has all the feels of a local short track show, where maybe a sub-regional short track show where they tour from track to track and end up here Oxford as a support class for the Oxford 250 potentially. I love this. This is exactly what you want out of the short track community here on iRacing.com. So everybody behind this that is watching this evening, thank you. This is exactly what this sim needs. Before we go any further, I want to thank the partners with this series, or at least with the Sim Model Racing Association in this case. Of course, All Pro Late Model Tour, Cody Williams Design, Corey Bodie Motorsports, Crow Sim Shots, Davis Chassis Works, DriverTees.com, Dylan Bates Racing, Fast AF Designs, Hides, Pride Leather and Sheepskin, International Short Track Association, Matthews Designs, 1-8 Coffee Company, 1-8 Racing Media, Patriot Media and Marketing Services, Pedley's Garage Incorporated, Pierce Fleet Service, RaceOneWraps.com, RJW21 Management, RS Inter Trucking, SARA Next Gen Templates, SimRepMarket.com, Toxic Media Solutions, and Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes. One quick look at the Cody Williams Design weather conditions for this race. 77 degrees ambient temperature. How about 96 degrees on track? Partly cloudy skies, very calm winds. But we are getting ready to turn the music down, turn the engines up. It looks like I might get one extra pace lap potentially, but we're getting ready to go green, Zach. Yeah, so one more time around. And this is that dreaded time for these drivers to think. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You never really want a driver to have to think, because it means they're stewing in their mind and overanalyzing what they should do when the green flag drops, Zach. If you are Tanner Bethea, what's the goal?
Go out there, defend, drive the wheels off the thing for the first few laps. Don't let them get to you, because the first opening laps is where all the bumping's going to be.
Here we go, green flag in the air, 125 laps for Only Short Tracks begins now. Immediately, Carter Levi jumps up and grabs second. Here comes Connor Knowlton into third. One lap complete here at Oxford Plains Speedway.
It doesn't take long to complete a lap here at Oxford with how short this track is and how technical it can be, which is weird to say for a lot of short tracks sometimes, but Oxford demands a lot out of these drivers, and you can see them getting mostly single file. We see that top line trying to form up. It's hard to get that top line forming here at Oxford Plains, but it can be useful later in the run.
Watching the 0-0 of Matt Vorndran go backwards, he's got Steven Oberstadt to his inside, and these, I believe, are the two guys we've been talking a lot with getting this event set up, especially Steven Oberstadt, kind of one of the masterminds behind this, along with Matt Rolfe. So to have them side by side here early, that just shows these guys are not just admins, they're racers. They want to get it done on the racetrack as well. There they are battling for about the 8th position. Oberstadt takes it, Vorndran falls back to 9th. It'll be Perry Davenport finishing out the top 10 for now. 20 cars on the racetrack, 125 laps, the first 5 are complete.
Only 5 laps in to a 125 lap race.
And one thing that is different from the SARA Super Series, the National Tour, even the Contender Series, I believe, these guys are in fixed setups. So you see the telemetry bottom right of your screen. Usually, we're used to guys messing with the gear, sometimes running 3rd gear around the racetrack. None of that this evening. Everybody's in 4th gear, fixed setup racing. They cannot work on the cars in that regard. Everybody's on the same setup.
I'm really surprised, honestly, with how they make those setups and just making those gears a little bit longer so that way they can ride it out in 3rd gear, maximize those RPMs. It's such a crazy move to see half the time, to be perfectly honest, and I've never even debated about doing stuff like that with my setups. We got to move for 2nd here. Levi up the racetrack. He's going to luck out, and Knowlton is going to take away that 2nd spot.
Connor Knowlton moving up. Here comes RJ Williams to the inside of Carter Levi. Battle for 3rd. RJ Williams gets down there in the Huffman Racing Radio, number 21. And here comes the 7. Kyle St. Jean moving on by.
Just going backwards in a heartbeat. You lose 1 spot, you lose 3. Carter Levi went from 2nd all the way to 5th. Now he's back in line, single file. He's got a good gap to Kernan Church right behind him. Ryan Pittman behind that 22 car as well. They're all bunched up into a group. So you see the spread here. And then there's the line of cars led by Kernan Church at the moment. Just kind of setting the pace a little bit. Finding their rhythm. Being smooth, being steady. That's what we like to see.
The number 60 of Davenport was kind of up the racetrack that time on the front straightaway. He's looking around the racetrack just a little bit, trying to find some speed. Working on the number 8 of Oberstadt. Vorndran fell back to the 11th spot. He is the only driver so far, and I actually like this. This is not as it was designed. The goal was actually not to have any number graphics on the ticker tonight, so it actually worked in our favor because now you can see drivers that are pulling double duty. There's 4 of them here in this race, and of those 4, Vorndran is the lowest as RJ Williams moves up into the 2nd spot, passing Connor Knowlton.
RJ Williams is a bit on attack mode right now. We usually see him doing pretty well when it comes to the Impel Motorsports National Tour, but also in the SARA Super Series, the Pierce Fleet Super Series. He's got some good runs that he's had most recently, and he's starting to show a little bit more speed, Andrew. I think he's starting to finally find his groove, find his rhythm, and work into these races and have a better idea of what to do. And I mean, even with the fixed setup as well, I feel like that's giving him a little bit more of a level playing field to go off of.
The problem is now for Pittman. He falls back from about the 7th spot all the way to 10th. One car at the racetrack, that's Nicholas Giampa. Giampa way up there in the Tide Ride, and a couple other cars getting way up the racetrack behind him. So these guys starting to widen the groove out, searching for speed. This is something Matt Rolfe told us might happen. We might see the racetrack widen out into a 2nd groove, even a 3rd groove later on in the race, if there is enough time for it to happen. And you're seeing that here towards the back. These guys are all over.
Just moving around, finding what they can do. That outside line, it's so treacherous, and you can see here on the onboard as they roll through onto the front stretch, you can kind of see where they crest, dip a little bit over, and fall back into the racing line. It's such a challenging track here at Oxford. You make one little misstep, one little mistake, and you can lose 5, 10, 15 positions.
Out front of them all, though, how about car number 20, at least as it is on the racetrack on the paint scheme, but scored as car number 994. That's Tanner Bethea in what looks to be, I believe that's the Great American Race Cars. Number 20, yes it is. So props to Bethea for getting out to an early lead, but RJ Williams is a-coming. I think that 21 machine might have something here for Bethea before this race is over. I mean, still a long ways to go, right? Only lap 23 now of 125. A lot of racing left to go. Let's ride on board here with RJ Williams for a couple of laps, and let's monitor the gap from second up to first. It's already come down nearly under 7/10, so Williams is moving forward.
Yeah, Williams is ticking away at that gap to the race lead. Looking at it, though, that's concerning to me. He's taking a lot shallower, oh my goodness, of an entry going into these corners, kind of cutting it a little tighter, if you ask me. Watch him going into 3 right here. You can see just how much tighter he's taking that corner entry compared to the race leader. You got to think, Andrew, what is that doing to that right front tire?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is he using too much stuff a little too early right now? It looks great. He's making a lot of speed, working that lower lane on the straightaways, but how long can that last? You know, Matt Rolfe told us about 30 laps to get the outside lane rolling, so that means it takes about 30 laps for these tires to kind of hit that first plateau where they wear out and open up the racetrack, right? I mean, that's what that tells me. So we're hitting that 30 lap mark here in a couple more laps. Are we going to see RJ Williams start to head in the wrong direction here soon? We'll keep an eye on this, but also move around the racetrack as there is some great racing still back here in this single file line. These guys are all beating on bumpers. Every once in a while there's some contact and they get out of line.
Getting out of line at Oxford is just one way to really set your score backwards here. A lot of stacking right there. Up the racetrack goes Mulligan. Pittman down to the bottom now. They're going to be side by side for the 9th position. That outside line, though, maybe it's finally starting to come in. Lap 29, a little bit of contact right there.
Contact between Mulligan and Pittman here, and now for the race lead. No, not yet. I saw timing and scoring light up. Must have been a glitch there, but here comes Oberstadt now on the outside. Davenport wins the back of Kiernan Church. Great battle now for the 6th position. Oberstadt on the outside in 7th. I know you like this camera view, Zach. I love this camera view here especially. It shows you the most consistent view of the racetrack from just the tower camera alone. I really enjoy this camera here at Oxford. It's pretty close to a fan perspective as well, just zoomed in as Davenport gets into Mulligan there. But this is showing Oberstadt as he continues to work on the outside lane. As soon as it opened up, he was quick to move up there and start to use it.
Yeah, here we go. Now the outside line is starting to be used properly, in my opinion. Letting these guys dig out there a little bit more, but look at how much further they're cresting on that front straightaway, Andrew. It gets so off camber when you crest over that little berm right there. I got to think about what that does to the tires, to be perfectly honest, because doesn't that put a little bit more force on those right side tires with kind of going one direction and then sliding back in with the banking?
You would think so. It's something we'll have to watch for sure as Mulligan and Davenport run side by side. Oberstadt has just about cleared Kiernan Church, but we can't get too far away from the leaders. Look at how close they are now. Bethea has got RJ Williams on his back bumper, about a car length between them.
Gotta wonder when those right side tires are going to start wearing out for Kiernan Church, or not Kiernan Church, excuse me, for RJ Williams. Don't know where I was going with that one, Andrew, but I think these guys have really started to even up on their line now. You saw them have a bit of an even entry going into turn number 3.
I think Williams' tires are starting to wear out. He was just drifting off of turn 4, had the wheel turned way to the right to hang on to it.
Yeah, he's still entering shallow there into 3, and you can see just how much that's affecting him. He's entering good, but then he's drifting up through the center of the corner. Watch it right here. He hits it, drifts up a lot more. I don't want to say comparatively that the leader Bethea is doing it as well, because he's hanging on the sausage curve a little bit more than RJ Williams is. But here we go a little bit further back. Mulligan using that outside line to his advantage. He's moving up into the 6th spot.
So Mulliken moving forward, gets on by Kieran Church, gets on by Steven Oberstadt, and now Oberstadt's caught down low. Davenport on the outside, a bunch of cars behind him starting to use the outside lane. This is a really cool scene right now. We've got 40 laps complete now under green, and you can tell these guys are able to use the entire racetrack to their advantage.
And 10 minutes in, 10 minutes and 30 minutes, 10 minutes and 30 seconds in. We're already almost a third of the way done here.
Watch that tide ride.
Plains Speedway.
The KST number 5. Watch him. When he comes off of turn 2 here, he's going to go way, way wide down the back stretch.
Three wide. That's dicey here at Oxford. Really, really loose. I think that right rear is starting to go out on that number 5 car.
That is Nicholas Giampa, scored as the number 26, but visually the number 5. He's just ahead now of Lukey Shannon, and the number 13, scored as the number 66. So these guys in the mid-pack, maybe some paint schemes don't match their numbers, but that's okay. We'll move on by. As up front, Zach, R.J. Williams has got back to be within a couple of tenths of our race leader, Tanner Bethea.
Look at how shallow that corner is, Andrew. That is just so concerning to me. I don't want to keep harping on it, though. I don't want to seem like a negative Nancy. I'm sure RJ knows what he's doing, and I'm sure he's got a decent head on his shoulders when it comes to strategy and caution.
Giampa.
Oh, we were just talking about him.
And I'm going to have you confirm for me, but I don't think these guys have any extra sets of tires, so a spin here this early is really going to hurt you the rest of the race. Here's what happened to Giampa. You see the 13 get to his inside. That's Lukey Shannon. I wonder if there was contact. And yes, he bobbled. Oof. Shannon had nowhere to go, and that sent the 5 car for a spin.
Yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes. That's how racing tends to be. There's
you know what?
Not a lot of space.
Giampa's lucky. He didn't go over the racetrack there, didn't go off of the racetrack into the grass and gravel. Just slid up into the marbles, got back going. Pretty calm incident, all things considered. A little slide of the tires is not what you want, but I've seen worse things happen.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse right there. Did a great job locking it down, though.
One more look from the number 13, or I guess the 66, if you will. And that's a look at our first caution of the evening. Cars pacing now under yellow, and Tanner Bethea at the lead of them all. This is a great reset moment for Bethea, for Williams, for Nat'l, everybody up front. Maybe not what they all wanted. I'm sure some drivers did, some drivers didn't. We'll reset and go back at it. Caution laps counting this evening. Of course, we still have more to the program tonight. After this 125 lapper, Zach, we've got heat races and LCQs and everything else going on for the Oxford 250 tomorrow. So we've got more than just this race tonight. But let's take a look here at the restart, into the restart zone. Green flag is back out, racing once again in the only short track, Oxford 125. And immediately out front, R.J. Williams right on the back bumper of Tanner Bethea. 1 lap complete off the restart.
Pulled a big defensive move in turn number 2. Connor Knowlton ended up bouncing off the sausage curb on that left front tire. And now R.J. Williams is about as close as he's ever been. Look at that corner exit speed, Andrew, on Bethea. Oh my goodness. That is some really good drive off of corner number 4. And looking up off of turn number 2, he's going to gain a little bit more ground as well. You know, I don't know if R.J. Williams needed that caution to reset, refocus. I mean, cool the tires down, get him off a heat cycle, maybe see if he can reset, refocus, get back up there. But I don't know, with how much the tires are wearing at this point, do you see him going forward, or do you see him going backwards?
We'll see. Time will tell, as we're only a little over 50 laps into this race. Perry Davenport has moved up into the 5th position. So Bethea leads, Williams 2nd, Knowlton in 3rd, Levi 4th. Then you get to Davenport back here in the 5th spot. He has been kind of one of the pioneers of that top lane right now, Zach. Right through the middle of the racetrack. The number 60 looking very, very good. just about clear of that number 7 down low, but no opportunity to cut down in front of him as Carter Levi falls back now. And Davenport gets to the outside of Levi's number 28.
Hey, it only takes one. Now, would you compare this to maybe how they say it for pitting? You never want to be the first one to pit road. You never want to be the first one on top. I don't know. I like seeing these guys take this direction. They're trying something different. They're trying to see if they can work that top line in a little bit more.
And this is the perfect race distance, I feel like, for late models. 125 laps, just enough time to have some aspects to the race, kind of have some comers and goers, burn the tires up a little bit, but also have to save them. And
like a car store distance.
Yeah, it's a really good race length. 125 laps is really good. 150 is kind of the top end of what I feel like is good for your ordinary race. Of course, you have your special races like the 250 tomorrow that, of course, prescribes for a longer distance. But for a normal race like this, just an ordinary points race, I really do like this distance. 125 laps, really good length, easy to digest as well as Davenport continues to look around this number 28 car, but no dice just yet. There they go out of turn 2.
I think he was really just trying to hang on to the car. He was swinging way, way out. Look at how high he is. He's really, really loose. I think swinging way too far out has really hurt those tires. He was very close to the outside wall on the front straightaway not just a few laps ago.
Loose there.
Look at how loose that car is. Yeah, he is struggling now. Look at how way wide he is.
Out very wide on the back straightaway. Out wide again on the front stretch. Just ahead of Justin Mulliken in that number 51 car for Connell Chassis. And I gotta say, props to Connell Chassis for having a very lively presence in this series. We see the Connell Chassis number 51. We also see, I think it was on Levi's machine, I think I saw Connell Chassis on the back end of that car. So Carter Levi's got it on his car. Let's see, did Bethea have a logo? Yeah. Bethea's got the Connell Chassis logo on the hood there. Let's go back to, I think it was the 8 of Steven Oberstadt had Connell Chassis on that Chevrolet. So Connell Chassis, a very lively presence within this series. You saw the logo at the beginning of the broadcast. Only short tracks brought to you by Connell Chassis. So they are very well and alive here in this series as we go a little beyond halfway now. Connell Chassis, very much present in the Only Short Tracks League, and very well present as well in the Sim Auto Racing Association to a different degree. But up front, still, Bethea over Williams. Bethea, I believe, has led every single lap so far this evening. A quick look at his details there. Led every lap except for, it looks like, 2 laps, which I wonder what 2 of those were, maybe under caution.
It might have been. We'll have to look through at that. You'll be able to see it when the results are shown at the end of the race, but a little bit further back, there's some more cars trying that outside line, Andrew. We're seeing more and more just trying to step out a little bit in their wheelhouse, but this is the one thing that gives me concern, and I feel like this is going to be more concerning during the Oxford 250 is we're really starting to see how the marbles are forming. We're starting to see them below the sausage curve on the apron. That's not a problem. But look at that outside line. You can even see it on the cameras. It shows a little bit more grainy on that outside line. Those marbles just keep getting pushed up there. And the more they're pushed up there, the looser it's going to see. Here you can see in the speed shot camera that the groove is kind of formed. There's the bottom and there's a bit of a middle groove. There you can see it up off of turn number 2. Those guys are sticking to that driving line. They're running a little bit there, but you see those 2 cars passing by on the outside line. They're getting a little bit further up in the marbles. That's where you're seeing the looseness happen. The more this race goes on, especially tomorrow, the more marbles we're going to see get tossed up there.
That said, these guys are keeping the racing groove pretty clean so far, and it might impact the 3rd lane way up top, so maybe we just don't see any side, like 3-wide racing. We should still have enough room for side-by-side stuff. We're seeing that so far this evening, and it widens out big time on the straightaways. But yes, there is definitely a lot of marble build-up as one car goes sideways ahead. There was some smoke up ahead. Not sure what that was from, but we stay side-by-side here for the 5th position. Kyle St. John down low, 3 wide here, maybe with Mulliken.
He tapped the curb, Andrew. He swashed up the racetrack. That was really, really close. One car heading to the pit lane.
That's Thomas Dean.
He's already 2 laps down.
Ran the Sim Auto Racing Association Oxford 250 last year. Did not have a great outing. at an early exit and has what seems to be an early exit here again this evening. Might be looking.
Pass-through?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not really sure.
No penalties from race control from what I'm seeing. Maybe he just missed his box. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Oxford Plains Speedway has one of the wonkiest pit roads here at any racetrack I've ever seen. So maybe he just didn't know where his box was. Maybe he was just taking a pass-through, getting out of the way of the leaders. Here we go, more battling. This is just outside the top 5. This is Huntington and Smeal battling side by side. Smeal on the outside line, trying to make it work.
This battle for 12th position on the racetrack at this point in time. Kind of back end of the main line of cars. I really like that 27 car, the metallic red, matte black on the sides. That 27 looks really good, so props to David Smeal Jr. and whoever painted that race car for him. It is a good-looking race car. There you see it peeking through the gap between race cars as he gets up to the outside of Joshua Gaiman. On board with him now as he rides in 11th spot, getting his nose ahead of that Joshua Gaiman machine down low.
Outside line's rolling. Best to use it now while you have the tires. I think the guys that are using it later on, that's what I was talking about. First to go to the outside is kind of like first to pitting. You don't really want to be the first guy to do it, but you're going to end up doing it if you feel like you can. And now that I think the guys who are running the bottom save their tires a little bit better, they can utilize that outside line. They can be a little bit more aggressive, and they can gain those spots. Really push to what it's worth on that outside line.
Coming up on 40 laps to go. In fact, that was 45, now 44. Side-by-side fight here with the 7 and 51 machines. Kyle St. Jean and Justin Mulliken. Maybe some contact that time through 1 and 2. Here they are to turn 3. Contact there for sure. That was David Smeal getting into the back end of the 7 car. Now Smeal's going to go for a spin, crashing on the front straightaway.
That's what happens when you tap that sausage curb, Andrew. It just shakes everything out of whack.
And Oberstadt with mega problems there. The right front is all kinds of beat in.
Only our second caution of the night. I really thought that was going to shake up sideways from the get-go when that 7 car jumped way up to the outside line after getting shuffled off the bottom.
Watch Smeal in that black and red 27. Kieran Church got up the racetrack. I think he popped the curb, and then everything just blew up from there.
Yeah, Church definitely popped the curb, and there you see all 3 of those cars getting caught up down there on the lower end of the racetrack. This is going into turn number 3 here. Look at Kieran Church, just barely taps it, washes up, a little bit of contact, and then the stack up just nowhere to go for the 995. And that's what creates this 3-car turnaround going into turn number 1.
Let's go back an extra lap and let's ride on board with Steven Oberstadt, riding on board the only short tracks in Civil Auto Racing Association number 8 car this evening. Was on the inside of Ryan Pittman there. And had nowhere to go. He didn't even know what was happening.
We said it once, we've said it many times, and I'll say it right now. You're relying on what's in front of you, Andrew. Sometimes you just can't see. It's usually why we have spotters up on the spotter stand telling us what's going on, wrecking in front, go high, go low, move all around. Talk about moving around now. We saw RJ Williams throw some great defensive blocks on that last restart, but we're into another longer run. He's got another heat cycle on those tires, and they're wearing out even more. What's going to end up happening on this restart? That outside line can be brutal at times.
Here we go, back around to the restart zone. No chooses here. They line up per iRacing's control. Green flag back in the air, just inside of 40 to go. RJ Williams slices and dices down to the bottom lane just ahead of Connor Knowlton. And look at Carter Levi on the top side of the racetrack.
Ooh, contact going around. Turn number 2. Cars into the gravel. Oh, no.
Big hit for the 51 car. That's Justin Mulliken. Perry Davenport around as well. Now, these guys know they only have 45 minutes to get this full race in. So, too many cautions. They might not hit the full 125 lap mark. Here's the incident. Mulliken gets in the back of Davenport. Davenport checks up, and there's nowhere for either car to go. Mulliken bites the dust, literally.
Not much you can do in that situation. On board Mulliken. He jumped out of it at least. He did everything he could to jump out of it, and then there's the contact. You know, Andrew, seeing that right front, I was going to say it could have been a lot worse, but it's pretty towed out.
Yeah, that's not the way that car should be looking at this point in time. That's a lot of right front damage. He is now still on the racetrack. I'm surprised by that, actually. I would have thought he would have pitted, but I think he's going to try and run it out. You know, the steering doesn't look too bad, actually. I'm surprised. David Smeal's on the pit lane. There he is. In car 27, he has got his lap back. Thomas Dean now, the one car that is lapped.
That's a dirt mound right there.
That it is. So here we go. About 30 laps to go, Zach. I don't know if they're going to hit the full race distance. I think about 9:38 Eastern is the latest they can go. So they have about 15 minutes to get these 32 laps in. Let's see what they can do. They can certainly get it done if they go green. It's going to be close if they get another caution. Working on a green flag back in the air. Not a great restart for RJ Williams. Here we go.
That's what we were talking about, Andrew.
Look at that 13 car, Lukey Shannon up in the top 5 now. Williams falls back to 3rd spot. Carter Levi got up to 2nd. Connor Knowlton now 4th. Everybody fighting for all they can get behind.
Searching around to this point, just trying to find where the speed is going to help this car rotate this late in the race. Tires wearing out. Look at that. Bethay going quickest this late in the race. That shows he has been very good with conserving those tires, keeping that car underneath him, and just doing everything he can to battle out in front.
I will say only one car off the lead lap at this point in time, and everybody's still in the race. Very good looks for only short tracks. They've put together a really nice race so far this evening. Props to everybody in the admin team, everybody in the field tonight. This has been a great showing here on Pit Stop TV of what this league is made of. Let's keep it up these last 25 laps or so as we get single file now in the top 6. Good battle for 7th.
Side by side, up off of 4. That's going to be really tight going through turn 2.
I love that angle. Watch the left front of the 7 car. It's moving a bunch.
He's having a tricky time. He's losing all the rear end grip in that race car.
This is a little more zoomed in. Watch that 7. Watch the left front. It's moving around. You can see how much he's correcting that race car. The steering wheel movements versus the rest of the car. That is a really good look at just how much he's fighting the car. Let's go in car now and watch it here from the hands.
Yeah, look at his hands going down in turn number 1. He's got a good angle. You see just how much he has to correct, though. Big step off of 2. Wow.
That's Kyle St. John in the number 7. Scored as the number 20. Falling back now. RJ Williams back to the 6th position all of a sudden. He's getting freight trained on the bottom side.
This is what we were afraid of. RJ Williams was having a really great showing up in the front of the field, but these cautions have really just sent him backwards. And now the tires are definitely starting to show. Kernan Church looking down to the inside line. He's going to try to see if he can't find a way around. A big slide, big step for that 21 car of Williams. He's just going backwards fast.
Here comes a car that was dead last at one point earlier in the race. The number 11, Riley Mauricio, has climbed on through the field as we get a caution on the speedway. Steven Oberstadt involved again. Kyle St. John now, that car that we saw making all those great corrections, involved in this new incident. And so far, I will say that the field is on pace to still get every lap in, Zach. But this caution is going to make it a little bit close. Let's see what happened here. Kyle St. John loose, drifting, and then sideways and nowhere at all for Oberstadt to go.
I was really just expecting this out of the 7 at this point. He had been fighting that car for so long.
A look at it here from the hands, the eye perspective of Steven Oberstadt. Nowhere to go. And so we'll reset, re-rack, and restack inside of 20 to go here, Zach. And boy, it's going to be an interesting look at the field now. You see one car getting the wave by. That'll be Thomas Dean. That'll put every car now back on the lead lap inside of 20 to go. Oh boy, what could be here? This is going to be fun to the end. Want to take a look while you're watching, in case you're just watching for the only short tracks portion of the evening, want to take a look at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV. Next up, tomorrow night, we head right back here at Oxford Plains Speedway for the Impel Motorsports National Tour Oxford 250, presented by Only Short Tracks. Do not miss this one. This is going to be a marquee event for sure for the Impel Motorsports National Tour. And that's kind of the point of the series, is only marquee events, but this is going to be a special one for sure. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night for the Oxford 250. And then next Tuesday and next Thursday, a couple of road course races here on the channel. The Chicago Street Course for the BRB Buntkicker Cup Series and the NASCAR Cup Series cars. And then we take GT3 cars to Portland with the North American Racing League. That's what's upcoming, but right now, Zach, you see the field of 20 ready to go at it again. Here we go, into the restart zone. Green flag, back in the air, in the Only Short Tracks Oxford 125. There was some contact between Knowlton and Levi, but they sorted out for second for now. Still up for debate, though, who's going to get that spot, and Levi's got it for now. Crashing in the back.
Come off of turn number 4. Oh, no.
Oberstadt, Dean, Pittman, no yellow here. Oberstadt trying to get back going. He might be high-centered. No, he gets back rolling. There's the leaders in the background. On board here with Oberstadt. You see the leaders right behind. He's going to have to pull down. There we go.
I'm really surprised that that was not a caution.
Well, I think they see the situation with time, right? They want to make sure they get the race in. Bethea has a lead. It's not huge. It's about 0.4 of a second right now over Carter Levi and Zach here in the final 13 laps or so. That's the focus up front. Spinning though, watch the 2. Knowlton around, caution is out. And that makes up for that incident a few laps ago. Let's see what happened there first with that previous incident, if we can get back to it here quickly. So here's the restart. Watch the number 8. It was pretty much first lap out of the restart. So there's the number 8 of Oberstadt. He's already got a bunch of right front damage. Something goes wrong for him. And it was Pittman where it started, I think. Right there, the 8 got loose. He got a tap from the 27. And wow, that was a big hit from Thomas Dean.
I mean, I see where he was going with just going high right there, but the quick turn back to the right is what got him. So I'm bored with Thomas Dean here, rolling up off of turn number 4. There's the smoke show. Just couldn't even see that there was a car spinning back right. You can see the checkup, but you can't see the wreck in front.
And then the incident with Connor Knowlton, here that is. I believe it might be the next lap around, Zach. Or was it right here? Was that a turn 2? So it could be right here. Yeah, up the racetrack, the back end just came around. That's old tires.
Did he get a little bit of help right there on the outside line?
I don't believe so. We can check here from the onboard. I don't think he got... No, there's no contact. It was... The car just came around. That's just old tires. And Connor Knowlton will get the wave around there and get back on the lead lap. So we will keep all 20 cars on the lead lap here. Zach, we are getting right down to it. Right to the nitty-gritty of this one. Lap 118, we'll get the green flag and go back racing. That'll be 8 to go. This only short tracks 125 has been, as they say, a banger so far. Restart zone, green flag once again, and the only short tracks 125. Tanner Bethea being hounded by Carter Levi. Can Levi get there in these final 8, now 7 laps?
We see Shannon trying to clear for that 3rd position, get everyone single file amongst that top 3. Now it's all on attack mode. Coming back across the line, it's going to be 6 laps to go. Down to the inside. Vordran is trying to find a way forward in that 0-0. And look at that, Bethea goes quickest again with 6 laps to go. He's got something left in the tank. But Levi is getting up there, trying to find his way forward, trying to find his way to the lead. Carter Levi still has 6 laps to go to try and get by the driver who has been leading this race from the drop of the green flag.
Make it 5 that last time by, coming up to 4 laps to go. He's getting closer. He's right within distance to strike on this number 994 or number 20. That was 4 laps to go. He's oh so close to that back bumper, just inside of 0.2 of a second. Can Carter Levi get there? It's going to be close here. 3 laps to go at Oxford.
Big arcs going into the corner. You can see just how different of a line they both have on corner entry here at Oxford. The time is running out for Carter Levi. He's getting right to the back bumper, Andrew. Popsicle sticks are in the air for Carter Levi. And it's so close. He's got... Oh, we got a caution!
And we will go to overtime. How about that? It's going to be a buzzer beater of an overtime run. Let's take a look, though, at what just happened to put us under caution yet again here this evening. Kyle St. John with issues. He was up ahead of Thomas Dean, right there with Steven Oberstadt. You see Dean with all that front-end damage. And Kyle St. John had just been losing the car lap after lap, and there we go. He spun around, tried to alt F4, it looks like maybe, but was not quick enough. Right there trying to hang on to it and looped it. Luckily for Connor Knowlton, that 7 car kind of dipped out of the session right quick, and I'm going to go ahead and give Connor Knowlton then the lucky performance, lucky break of the day, because that could have been insult to injury. At least now, Connor's got a chance to get back out there, and while he is last of the cars still running, Zach, he's got a couple of laps to try and bully his way up there.
Sitting here trying to think for a second about just how this restart's going to go, Andrew. We have 2 attempts at a green-white checkered, right?
I believe, yes, we've got 2 attempts, so this attempt and 1 more should we need it. It's going to be close, though, on time. Here we go. Back around to the restart zone. There you see the front row. Tanner Bethea, who's led every single lap, and Carter Levi, who's trying to take it away. Green flag back in the air. A janky restart, but we are racing. 2 laps to go.
Oh,
Spinning.
go around, Kernan Church. Multiple cars off into the grass. It's going to be 1 more attempt at overtime. Oh, my goodness.
And there you see on the bottom right of your screen, Lucky Performance Overtime rules. You can go ahead and get rid of the fact that we might restart again because we've done that, but you get 2 laps basically, a green lap and a white lap, then checkers will end it. If the green lap is completed, the race is official, and you can end under any condition there at white flag. So keep that in mind. Let's go back and see what just happened to Kieran Church and others as we get right down to the end of this session. Let's move ahead a little bit there in the replay. Here we go. This is right away, right off the restart. Kieran Church, 6th place. You see the mess up there on the restart for Vorndran and Shannon. And then up the racetrack goes RJ Williams, and Church gets hit from behind. Hard to tell exactly what happened there. Let's maybe a better look at it. Williams down low. He goes up the racetrack, and oh, the 995 got into the 22. Vorndran goes out into the dirt trying to miss it. believe we are coming to 1 to green, though. We will get another attempt at this, and it'll be the final attempt. No matter what happens, Zach, this will be the one final chance at a restart for these guys. Green, yellow, no matter what happens, this is it.
It's going to be a buzzer beater. We're running on a time limit as well, Andrew, and we've got... Well, actually, we're about to hit the time limit once they take the green flag.
That's what I've been saying.
30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
It's going to be close when we get back to the green flag here. So we'll hit 2 laps to go, and then the time limit should let us take the white flag. We'll have to wait and see. Here we go.
Green, white, checkered overtime, restart, green flag, back in the air here at Oxford Plains Speedway. It's a straight-up race now. Guns a-slinging for first and second.
10 seconds on the time limit, so we are going to hit full distance with 2 overtimes. Down into turn number 3.
Oh, there we go.
Levi
saves it. White flag in the air, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. No matter what happens now, we race it back. And Tanner Bethea will round turns 3 and 4 at Oxford Plains Speedway for a near perfect run at Oxford in the only short tracks, Oxford 125. A fantastic part of the Oxford 250 for the Sim Auto Racing Association, brought to you by Only Short Tracks. Tanner Bethea gets it done. What a race. Now, you might have noticed we did not take a driver of the day vote. We're saving that for the heat races a little bit later on. But what a day here for Tanner Bethea.
What an amazing job to lead this race from just about the drop of the green flag. I think the only laps he didn't lead were laps under caution.
Well, the race was prescribed for 125. The race was prescribed for 125. He just led 132 and won the race.
Well, you're not wrong. He did lead race distance plus extra.
So a great job at the office by Tanner Bethea. Let's go back and get the unofficial race results here. When it's all said and done, it'll be out front, Tanner Bethea with the race win by about 4.5 tenths over Lukey Shannon. David Smeal Jr., what a recovery drive for the 027 drive back up to 3rd place. Riley Mauricio, they're in 4th. Carter Levi falls to 5th on the final restart from 2nd. Jeremy Brault, didn't talk about him at all. Brault gets up to 6th. Almost said 7th there. 6th place for Jeremy Brault. Matt Huntington in 7th. Nicholas Giampo, we saw problems for his car. He finishes 8th. Steven Oberstadt, with all that damage, finishes 9th. And Zach, I told you, Connor Knowlton got that lucky break of the day, drives up to 10th.
Good pick for a lucky break of the day, I'll tell you. Going down the running order, we had the guy who's running second just about all race long, RJ Williams. He ends up 11th. I think he also got involved in that little smash up there coming to the white flag. Thomas Dean ends up in the 12th spot. Kernan Church right behind him in 13th. And you have Ryan Pittman 14th and Justin Mulliken in that 15th position. Matt Vordran, in the 16th position. Cody Panel in the 17th position. Joshua Gaiman 18th. He finishes 1 lap down, as does Panel. They both end up 1 lap down at the end of the day. First car is 1 lap down. Perry Davenport ends up 3 laps down when it's all said and done. And then Kyle St. John ends up 12 laps down, finishing 20th on the day.
And Zach, I want to thank you for being here so far this evening. I know you've had a long week at work, so good night to you. Thank you for being here. We'll talk to some drivers now. Next up, your top 3 will be coming to talking to us. Tanner Bethea, Lukey Shannon, and David Smeal Jr. So as Zach leaves the broadcast booth, let's bring in our race winner from the Only Short Tracks, Oxford 125 in this case. Tanner Bethea, a checkered flag for you and a whole lot of laps up front. What was that race like from your perspective?
Yeah, it was a lot of tire saving. I didn't really think I was going to make it there at the end. I had burnt the right rear off so bad, but overall a great race. I like the strategy that went into it. Like Carter, he stayed in the back most of the race and came up and was the fastest car at the end of the race. So yeah, there was different strategies going on and just who can keep the tires on her.
And you kept those tires on that race car all race long. I know you were out front the entire show, but you also ran the fastest lap of the race there right at the end, a 15.190. What's the secret, at least of what you're willing to share, of how you managed to run so fast, so late in a 125 lap race with no change sets?
Yeah, this car and I guess the tire model on it, normally when you get a caution like that, it automatically fires off quicker, I guess you could say. But this place has a crazy line to it that definitely switches around through the race, and I feel like if you can hit that line just right after those restarts, that you can lay down a heater.
Were you concerned at all about RJ Williams on your back bumper the first half or so of that race?
I mean, not really. I mean, I think we were both just kind of saving our stuff. He would pull on me a little bit, and I'm like, all right, this is the pace he's running, and I would just try to keep matching that pace and keeping a certain gap between us, and I think it worked out perfect.
Well, congratulations, Tanner. A great way to kick off the week for us here at Pit Stop TV as far as the only short tracks Oxford 250 goes. Congratulations on the win here tonight in the 125, and hopefully we'll see you in these big shows on Thursdays here soon.
All right, man, I appreciate it.
That's Tanner Bethea with the race win this evening in the only short tracks Oxford 125. You see the crashing there behind him. Let's bring in the beneficiary of all of that action there right at the end, the Nitro Racing driver of David Smeal Jr., one of my favorite paint schemes in the race as well. You just get by all that mess there at the end. What happened at the end of this race?
I mean, that was, that's the entertainment and fun you come for, and very glad to have missed it. Very glad to have put this car on the podium. I didn't think I'd be standing here at the end of the night because that was a really good field with a lot of good cars, and I felt really good early. Got caught up in one of those messes somewhere, had to fix a little bit of damage, and then just sat in the back and bided my time, and then crawled my way to the front as the mayhem unfolded.
It definitely got chaotic there right at the end, but you have to position yourself for that kind of moment to even help you, right? I mean, you've got to be in the right place at the right time. So how about the challenge of working through those mid-race missteps and putting yourself in the right place at the right time? What was that like?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's very much about picking your moments to either jump out of line or try and go for a hole and, hopefully not put somebody in a bad position. And I know at one point I got into Pinell, and I keyed up and apologized to him because I got into him accidentally, and I felt horrible about that because I think it caused a little bit of a skirmish behind me, and you hate stuff like that. But I mean, tight racing as tight as this field was, I mean, you had to take every opportunity you could get.
Well, congratulations, third place after starting 18th. You basically flipped your starting spot to your finishing position as far as the field goes, so congrats there. A solid job for the Nitro Racing number 27. Congrats, and hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Absolutely, thank you.
David Smeal Jr., one of the best paint schemes on the racetrack for sure, finishes in the third spot, and we will take a quick break here at Pit Stop TV, but not before we thank our partners with the channel. Of course, we thanked the partners of the series a little bit ago, but a lot of help gets it done for us behind the scenes here at Pit Stop TV as far as the channel goes. Whiplash Simcams, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League. Keep an eye out if you're watching on YouTube for that NARL Driver of the Day vote. For the heat races coming up soon, the heats, the LCQs, and all that good stuff for the super late model portion of the show as we go SARA Racing here in just a little bit to set the field for the only short tracks Oxford 250 here this week. And we also want to take one more look at what's upcoming for us here at the channel. Of course, tomorrow's only short tracks Oxford 250 happening here at Oxford Plains Speedway, but then next week a double feature, if you will, of road racing. We go to the Chicago Street Course on Tuesday for the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series, and then on Thursday it's the Portland International Raceway for the North American Racing League. We'll catch you at each of those ones hopefully. Until then, thank you for tuning in so far. We hope you'll stick with us here for the Impel Motorsports National Tour as we continue on into prelim racing here for the only short tracks Oxford 250. Don't go anywhere. We've got more racing coming up soon. Welcome back to the virtual Oxford Plains Speedway and the Only Short Tracks Oxford 250, or in this case, tonight is kind of the Only Short Tracks Oxford 125 program as we get ready to go racing this evening for what is going to be a special set of preliminary events. We've got heat races, we've got consies, we've got an LCQ all on tap for you this evening here on Pit Stop TV. Thanks for joining us. Of course, this broadcast brought to you by the Impel Motorsports Group, Only Short Tracks, and Whiplash Simcams, and of course, the Sim Auto Racing Association. As you take a look at some of the B-roll around the racetrack, let's talk about this racetrack just a little bit. It is located, of course, in Oxford, Maine, up in the great state of Maine. The pit lane is one of the most unique across anything you'll see in racing, certainly here on the iRacing.com sim, kind of a dual pit lane concept. You have two strips of pit lane, one bendy, the other one kind of more straightened out, and of course the middle-ish run of pit lane is kind of overflow, if you will, beyond about 20 cars on the front stretch pit lane. So pit speed 30 miles an hour, open to 1950. This place has a capacity of 14,000, and it often hits that capacity for the Oxford 250 here in the real world. Of course, the event that we are more or less emulating this week for the Sim Auto Racing Association Only Short Tracks Oxford 250. Before we get into the random draw heat races, let's take a look at the Whiplash Simcams race details. No qualifying. Straight into 4 20-lap heat races where 5 will advance from each. We'll have 2 20-lap consies where 4 will advance from each. You're following so far, that's 28 cars, then 1 30-lap LCQ where 1 driver will advance, and then there will be 1 provisional added on to the end. No change sets, green laps only will count this evening. That'll be the same tomorrow for the 250. Open setup, no fast fix, 2 green-white checkers in each racing session as needed. Let's get into the sim then and take a look at your first Lucky Performance starting grid this evening. It is going to begin with none other than Nim Cross on pole position for heat race numero uno. It'll be Steven Oberstadt from second. Starting from third, it'll be Alex Thomas. Alex McCullum from the 4th place. Starting from 5th, it'll be Kieran Church. Justin Crow from 6th. Starting 7th, Corey Bodie. Derek Robinson from the 8th place. Back in 9th and 10th, RJ Williams and Matt Rolfe. And finally, Kyle Turzak, who was fastest in practice, will tack on at the back end of the field. Thanks for joining us here at Pit Stop TV. We certainly do appreciate everybody watching along, whether you're with the league, with Only Short Tracks, one of the drivers, maybe some of the family out there. We appreciate you being here this evening. This is going to be a special night of racing, a special couple of nights of racing here on Pit Stop TV. It's all brought to you by some fantastic partners: All Pro Late Model Tour, Cody Williams Design, Corey Bodie Motorsports, Crow Sim Shots, Davis Chassis Works, DriverTees.com, Dylan Bates Racing, Fast AF Designs, Hides Pride Leather and Sheepskin, International Short Track Association, Matthews Designs, as well as 1-8 Coffee Company, 1-8 Racing Media, Patriot Media and Marketing Services, Pedley's Garage Incorporated, Pierce Fleet Service, Race1Wraps.com, RJW21 Management, RS Center Trucking, SARA Next Gen Templates, SimWrapMarket.com, Toxic Media Solutions, and Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes. Weather conditions quickly looking at 78.6 degrees in the air, 106 on track. It is a hot, slick day in Oxford, Maine, and we are racing in the first heat race of the night. Steven Oberstadt going backwards in a hurry. McCullum around the outside. Alex McCullum off the top rope. Takes away the 3rd position. Spinner and a crash in the back. Bodie, Crow, Rolfe, and Turzak all involved. Of course, we'll go back and take a look at what happened for these guys at the back of the field. It seems like, the 69 of Robinson kind of turned Bodie, kind of right hooked him. I'll show you again here from the tower. Watch the 69 car easily come down and catch the right rear of the 44. Right about here, he gets him and just stays at him. Hooks him right around, baby, right around. Takes out the 86, the 0, the 44, and the 15. Terzak got lucky, I'd say. And he's one to watch. He was our driver of the day in the Major Series, World Series of Asphalt this past weekend. He is going to be one to watch right now. He's hungry for a win. He wants to get it done in these super late models, especially here in the SARA National Tour. It's still a pretty decent hit to the nose of that race car, but all things considered, I think he got off pretty lucky. Could have been a lot worse. And of course, only green flag laps will count. Nim Cross still the race leader, as we will have our first choose of the evening. We'll see here where everybody has chosen. So, you see Cross has chosen low, McCullum high, Thomas low, and Williams high. Kyle Terzak will follow suit on the outside lane right behind RJ Williams. So very interesting choose for the first choose of the week. Here we go, back to the restart zone to get things back underway in heat race number 1. We're racing once again up front. Nim Cross, but Alex McCullum makes the pass, and already around goes RJ Williams. Caution is out. Not a great start, I'll be honest. Let's see what happened here to RJ Williams. That High Rock Vodka number 21 car. It's a tap from Kyle Terzak, and that sends Williams sliding. It was just enough angle versus the racetrack to bring out the yellow flag. Didn't really need a caution for that, but the iRacing.com sim saw a car sideways and said, hey, yellow flag. See the contact there, some netcode involved maybe, but regardless, contact. And that sends the 21 car sliding. That is our second caution of heat race number 1. So a slow start here to the heats. But Alex McCullum, I think most notably, is right up front where we expect him. Now, we've got a surprise post going out. I don't want to spill just what it is just yet. But make sure to keep an eye out for it. It's going to have to do with Alex McCullum, Cole Cabry, and some other drivers. So it's interesting to me that he is right up to the front of the field as we made that. We set up the graphic earlier, and he will be very much the center of that graphic as it goes out tomorrow over on social media. There you see the choose in turn 3. McCullum low, Kyle Terzak going to choose the outside lane in the Terzak Racing number 15. And there you see a great example of that front end damage for Terzak's car. Center punch. That nose is bent in. That's going to hurt his front end downforce, but how much? Oberstadt chooses high. He'll line up in 4th. Nim Cross chooses low in a new paint scheme. And here we go, back around to the restart zone from the drone camera. Green flag is back out. Three wide nearly, yeah, they're 3 wide behind him now. Corey Bodie trapped up top of Derek Robinson and company. Down low is that Kiernan Church 22 car. Contact in the middle. Maybe some more on the backstretch. Kiernan Church grabs the curving just like he did in the late model stock a little bit ago. Well, they get through it for now. McCullum out front. Remember your top 5 advance right now. Those are McCullum, Terzak, Cross, Thomas, and Oberstadt. And these were randomly selected, randomly lined up heat races. So we could have some specially packed heats with some extra talent in the field. We could have some heats, maybe have some surprises move on through. Going to be a fun mix here this evening as we approach halfway through heat race number 1 finally. Alex McCullum leading this race, a 15.070 that time. This is the first battle outside of a transfer position. This is Derek Robinson in the 69 car and Kiernan Church in the number 22. These two are the first 2 out and looking in. You'll see the entire field fly by on the front straightaway. All eyes right now, though, on this battle for 6th. Should one of these two cars break free, they might be able to run Oberstadt down for 5th. So this is the first kind of spot we got to watch as far as changing up who's currently in the race and who's currently out of the race. Based on the fact that we have 11 cars here in this heat race, I dare say we've got at least 41 cars trying to make the show this week. Only 30 will make it, so at least 11 going home. As you see Justin Crowe getting a little bit deep there in turn 1. We are now past halfway here in this first heat race. Derek Robinson finally gets clear and will now chase down Steven Oberstadt, or at least give it his best shot. About a year ago, we had the 2024 edition of this event, and Nim Cross joined the broadcast booth for a quick interview after prelim day. Shared that he was looking around for a different setup. Hopefully he brought a similar car back, because that car was pretty good the next day in the 250. And it looks like he's got some speed here, holding down 3rd place pretty nicely so far in this first heat race of 4. This is exactly what you want to see out of a guy like Nim. Just holding down the bottom, holding down the fort. Got to make Alex Thomas work for that spot. Going around to 3 laps to go. McCullum has taken off by 2 seconds over Terzak. That spells danger for the rest of the field. Alex McCullum has been very open about his recent moving around over to Matt Julis C Speed Shop, working with guys like Jacob Harberts. I had to think on that one for a second. And boy, the speed is just oozing out of that number 1 car. Here we go. 1 lap to go this time by. Brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. And Alex McCullum has got a healthy race lead here. By more than 2 seconds. Alex McCullum will round turns 3 and 4 and will take home heat race number 1. That's a checkered flag. First one on the night for Alex McCullum. Here comes Kyle Terzak, Nim Cross, Alex Thomas, and Steven Oberstadt. They're all in the show. Matt Rolfe just about ran down that 8 car, but it wasn't enough to get it done, as Alex McCullum is the first driver victorious here in the heat races. Heat race number 2 going to hit the grid. Let's meet the starting grid of 11 on pole for heat race number 2. How about number 14, Grant Brown out front. Samuel Roush will start from the 2nd position outside of row number 1. Starting 3rd, Jacob Harberts. Starting 4th, Ethan Wolf. That's a name we've gotten used to here at Pitstop TV. Starting 5th place, Chris Horton back in a SARA National Tour event. Steele Langford rolls off from 6th. Daniel Pope II, a former Driver World Championship driver, will start from 7th. Jake Sylvia from 8th. 9th and 10th, Matt Vorndran. We saw him in the 125 a little bit ago. Parker Traves from 10th. It'll be Connell Souza at the very back end of the field. He's got the most work to do of anybody here in this second heat race of the evening, so best of luck to him. Let's look around some of the paint schemes, though. Grant Brown breaking out a new paint scheme in that number 14 car. He's got orange, and he's got Cottle chassis on that machine. You also see the iRacing and NASCAR 25, number 13 of Sam Roush. Jacob Harbert's there in the 80, Ethan Wolf in the 112, Chris Horton in that Piggly Wiggly, number 42. A lot of great paint schemes out there on the racetrack. Jake Sylvia in the number 1. A lot of great cars coming around to get this race underway. Heat racing. Heat race number 2 about to get going. 20 laps the distance. We are racing here in heat race 2. And already problems. From the get-go, problems here for Sam Roush. He got shoved up the racetrack, I think by Ethan Wolf. And then Wolf goes around. I think he was checking up, and Langford got into him. Traves had to come to a stop to miss it. Let's watch that black and green 112 car. More or less center of your screen. He's going to get right to the back end of Roush. Get to the inside of the 13 right there. And gets tapped by Steele Langford. That sends the 112 around. And Ethan Wolf set to head to the rear of the field now. The Matt Julius C Speed Shop number 112 in trouble here on lap 1. Thankfully, all those cars look clean. Even the number 112 of Wolf. Looks like there's not much damage on that machine, so everybody should be okay. And here we go. First choose of heat race number 2. Brown low, Roush low, Harbert's high, Horton low, Langford high. Daniel Pope chose the bottom. And that's going to be Matt Vorndran choosing the top side there in the 8th position. So a great look there at the choose. And we'll get set to go back racing. We don't really have a lap complete. There is a time limit on these races, I believe 15 minutes each. So that's what it's showing is the time right now, because we don't really have a lap complete under green. But here we go. We'll get back after it. Green flag back in the air. This is heat race number 2. Remember the top 5 advance, that's going to be currently everybody through Chris Horton. Jake Sylvia trying to move up. He nearly right hooks Chris Horton. That was close. Looking at the back end, or from the back end of Chris Horton's machine, right at Daniel Pope II. Jake Sylvia up top in 7th. On board now with Parker Traves. Something we talked about in that 125 lapper, that late model stock race. That was a fixed setup race for these guys, or those guys I should say. They could not change the gearing. But here in the Super, these races are open setup for the Sim Auto Racing Association, meaning they can change the setup notes, they can change the gearing, they can bring their own suspension package and everything else. You see already Parker Traves running in 3rd gear. A lot of these guys are doing the same. And there's the pass. That's for 5th. Pope gets on by Langford. Now there's still a path into the race, even if you don't advance here out of the heat race. But it would make it a whole lot easier to do it from the heat than to have to rely on a Consi or an LCQ. Only one car advances from the LCQ. You certainly don't want to have to do it that way as we watch our top 2 go after it for 1st and 2nd. Right on the back bumper of Grant Brown, this is Jacob Harberts. Look how close they get there through the corner. Almost contact there out of turn 2. These guys are right on top of each other. Sam Roush holding his own in 3rd spot. Chris Horton 4th. Daniel Pope the 2nd rather in 5th. I'll get these numbers and names right one of these days. As we go on by halfway here in heat race number 2. Into the curb, Grant Brown at the racetrack. That's the door open that Harberts needed. Harberts will take the spot away. Brown slides into 2nd. And that might be Harberts off to the races. We saw the speed that McCullum had from the same team. A much better race here for heat race number 2. They had their little issue to get going, but since then it's been fantastic here through the rest of the field. Sam Roush holding down the 3rd spot. The iRacing and NASCAR 25 number 13 car holding down the fort in 3rd position, much like Nim Cross did. Chris Horton starting to beat down the back bumper of Roush. Every lap getting just a little bit closer. This for 3rd place. The question is, how rough and tumble do you want to get for a position that's already in the feature? Right? I mean, do you want to jeopardize having a spot in the race by racing for a starting spot, basically? I mean, do you want to risk it? I think the answer is no. I think you hold back. I think you wait. Two laps to go here. Jacob Harberts has taken off. This next time around, we'll get the white flag brought to you by Whiplash SimCam. Second one on the evening as far as the Super Late Model program is concerned. And the LeDuc Matthews Racing number 80 is off to the races. One more time around turns 3 and 4 for Jacob Harberts to get it done. Heat race number 2 belongs to Harberts. This race is complete. Harberts, Brown, Roush, Horton, Pope. Your top 5, they will all advance to the feature tomorrow night. Here we go, heat race number 3 now headed to the grid. A 10-car heat race. So we've had 11-car heat races for heats 1 and 2. Now a 10-car heat race here in heat number 3. Let's meet the Lucky Performance starting grid, beginning with Cody Dempster, somebody who had some bad luck here a year ago. He'll start heat race number 3 from the inside of the front row. Cole Cabry will start from the outside of row number 1. That feels like a gimme for him. He's been so good lately in these late models, we expect him to move right to the front. Starting from 3rd, Jake Grout. Tracy Petter from 4th. 5th place, Kyle Meyer, most recent winner here in the series at Langley about a month ago. Josh Oswald rolls off from 6th. Dante Curtis from the 7th spot. Josh Connell from 8th. And finally, Blake Massengill and Cody Kelly at the back end of the field. Now we will slowly be logging drivers for the NARL Driver of the Day vote. And I'm going to do things a little bit differently. We are going to, I am going to nominate drivers silently through these heat races, and then through the consies. That means during the LCQ, you'll have a chance to vote on who your driver of the day is. And so far, I've already got one driver in mind. This race might give me my second. Here we go, back around to the restart zone to get heat race number 3 underway. We are racing. Heat 3 has begun. Cole Cabry straight down to the inside line, right in front of Jake Grout. One lap complete here in Heat 3. Cabry right to work. Battle for 3rd, Jake Grout, Tracy Petter, Kyle Meyer right behind. Meyer, of course, went to victory lane at Langley Speedway back in July, winning the Throneburg Construction Hampton Heat. That was a fantastic job done by him. He would like to continue that success and advance straight to the feature here this evening, not have to worry about the consolation races here in a few more moments. And Meyer will move into the 4th spot and do exactly that, give him some insurance. Put one car between him and the cut line. That's where he'd like to be, if not even further up. Tracy Petter now on the hot seat. And look at Blake Massengill. A bright orange Cottle chassis, number 10. He's right behind the cut line. Curtis is going to move into 5th. Tracy Petter headed the wrong direction. Massengill has a chance to follow through and be right on the back bumper of Curtis. Some jockeying around, some pushing and shoving. And up front, here comes Cole Cabre to the inside of Cody Dempster. At least he tried that time. Very close between these two. A great look here from the drone camera. You see just how close Cole Cabre is getting. And, you know, in these heat races, they're only 20 laps. Of course, these tires won't be used for anything else. I think in the real world, you'd often have to run qualifying and the heat race on the same set of tires you start the race on. So you'd want to save your stuff even in the heat races if you can. But here in iRacing, things are a little different. You can abuse these tires during the heat. And look at this, problems up front, or behind rather. No caution. That's going to take a review for sure. Cody Kelly sitting back of this. Dante Curtis trying to hang on. Kyle Meyer has fallen out of a transfer spot. Jake Grout is back to 5th. What just happened a lap or so ago? Watch here out of turn 2. Might be the next lap around. See Cody Kelly falling all the way to the back of the field behind Josh Cottle at the time. Kyle Meyer was in the back end of Jake Grout. This is a replay. And does Grout get loose? What happens? This is maybe the next time around. Thought he got a little too far back, but this will just show us more context is all. Right there, Meyer gets into Grout. He checks up. Curtis gets shoved through. Curtis gets on by it. Grout gets into him. There goes Massengill on the inside. He has to take evasive action. That allowed Petter to go by. He now runs in 3rd. What a moment that was. And now Meyer is fighting to get back into a transfer spot. He's in the back bumper of Jake Grout trying to take it away. 6 laps to go right here. Meyer on the inside. This is for a transfer position. Whoever wins this battle transfers on in the 5th place here in heat race number 3. Josh Cottle going to try and follow through. And Jake Grout is headed the wrong direction. He's got some damage on his race car. Cody Kelly's sitting there as well. He's not where he wants to be. Not where we expect him, that's for sure. Blake Massengill got through all of that, as did Tracy Petter. There they are, 3rd and 4th. And up front, it's still Cody Dempster and Cole Cabre. 3 laps to go here in heat race number 3. Cabre breathing down Dempster's neck. Two laps to go. Popsicle sticks in the air here in heat race number 3. Not quite contact, not quite beating and banging yet for the heat race lead. That's okay. Back for 5th. It's been physical. Kyle Meyer, though, holds on to that spot for now. There he is in that green Moe's Mobile Detailing, number 88. And it looks like he'll hang on to that 5th spot over Josh Cottle out front. It's going to be Cody Dempster to the line. He wins heat race number 3 here in the Liberty Puzzles. Number 24, it'll be Kyle Meyer to the line in 5th. And that will do it for heat race number 3. Dempster, Cabre, Petter, Massengill, and Meyer, the drivers advancing. And so, just like that, heat race number 4 is on the docket. About 25 minutes into our heat racing program, and we are ready to go with the 4th and final heat race of the night. We've got 2 consies and an LCQ coming up next. Cameron Hamilton will lead us to the green here in heat race number 4. We haven't taken a look yet. We'll do so after this heat race if we get the time, but he is actually the points leader. Mitch Drunowski will grid up from 2nd rather. It'll be Trevor Edwards in third, Josh Parrish in fourth, Keith Jeffrey, Brad Carpenter, Blake Thornburg, Aaron Johnson, and finally Spencer Dickinson and Joel Smith at the back end of the field. Want to take a quick look at the season schedule here for the National Tour, the Impel Motorsports National Tour. As I crack a rock star to keep me going. Take a look here. This is round number 4 this week for the National Tour here at Oxford Plains Speedway. After this, we have a month off until the RJW21 Management Martinsville 300. And then we have the Velocity Motorsports All-American 300. That's late model stock cars at Martinsville, then Super Lates at Nashville. Going to be a lot of fun. Until then, here we go. Heat race number 4. Taking the green flag. We are racing once again here at Oxford Plains Speedway. Caution is out. Blake Thornburg around. And he's now got a paint scheme mirroring that of his teammate, Jacob Harberts. He goes around back here racing with Brad Carpenter in the number 31. Carpenter sideways came down into Thornburg, and Thornburg was down on the curb. Nothing he could do at that point. We'll watch from high above the speedway. Boom, big hit. Nowhere for Thornburg to have gone. And there's not much that these guys can do. I mean, frankly, if you start in the back, you're likely going to miss the transfer here in heat race competition, but you've got a chance in the consies. I think that's what a lot of these guys are relying on, is to see damage getting fixed there for Blake Thornburg. He's going to try and get back on the racetrack here before this caution is over. In fact, there he goes out of his pit box, back up onto the racetrack. I mentioned Cameron Hamilton's the points leader. He will choose the bottom here for this restart. Let's take a quick look at those point standings. Cameron Hamilton, this was a surprise to me, comes into tonight and this week with the points lead over Cole Cabry. Hamilton no wins. Cabry's got 1. McCullum is third, but much further back alongside Josh Parrish and Josh Cottle. Josh Cottle tied with Justin Crowe. Kyle Meyer with that Langley win up to 9th, tied with Spencer Dickinson. And Justin Brooks is back in 15th, tied with Jacob Harberts. More on that tomorrow night. For now, back around to the restart zone. Green flag coming back out. We are racing once again in heat race number 4. We had great races for heats 2 and 3. Heat 1 was a bit of a mess. Heat 4 so far off to a rough start, but that's okay. They're getting some laps in now as they run by our static cameras around the racetrack. Aaron Johnson, one of the first cars looking into the field right now. Keith Jeffrey going to move up into a transfer spot for the time being. Here's a look from the tower. Josh Parrish on the outside of Keith Jeffrey. Parrish was very open in the Discord this week about this not being one of his good racetracks, this being one of his worst racetracks per his beliefs. Had a decent start to the race this evening, of course the heat race that is. And he's starting to let some cars go by us. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe this is not his best track. He's now let Keith Jeffrey go by, then Spencer Dickinson, now Joel Smith, maybe even Aaron Johnson. So Parrish hemorrhaging spots right now. That, of course, opens the door for guys like Cameron Hamilton, Mitch Drunowski, and Trevor Edwards at the front of the field to just get away. Drunowski having one of his better runs we've ever seen from him here on Pit Stop TV. He's had some shining moments, but Nothing quite like this, chasing down a former Super Series race winner. And he's right on the front bumper there of Trevor Edwards as well. That's good company to be in between Cameron Hamilton and Trevor Edwards. A couple of the more level-headed drivers here in the series, I believe. And I mean, Edwards gets a little fired up every once in a while, but he's been around for a long time. Well, thank you all for tuning in this evening. This is a continuation of day one for us here at Pit Stop TV with the Impel Motorsports National Tour and the only short tracks, Oxford 250. And this is heat race number 4 of 4. Watching your top 3 right now go at it. That's Cameron Hamilton, Mitch Drunowski, and Trevor Edwards. Those are your top 3 at the front of the field. But then Joel Smith is starting to beat down the door of Spencer Dickinson to try and look for a transfer here into the feature race. Contact is heavily advised against here in the Sim Auto Racing Association. It's usually penalized. But if you're Joel, it's going to be difficult to resist the urge to just get up there and give Spencer a tap. You know, get him out of the way. Nothing too crazy, just enough to move that 6 car. Test the lines of what's permissible and what isn't. Got to pace yourself, though. Got to find a way by that car without using yours. Aaron Johnson sits in 7th, Josh Parrish in 8th, Throngberg back in 9th, and Carpenter in 10th. Not a good heat race for either one of those drivers. And Joel Smith now blinking. Not what he needs. That was 5 laps to go now, 4 to go. Smith to the inside of Dickinson. Dickinson gives him the light of day. This the battle for the transfer spot. Problems behind with Parrish and Johnson. We keep racing. Smith gets on by. Dickinson now working on that back bumper of Joel Smith, as Josh Parrish drops all the way to the 10th position. Two laps to go at the front of the field. Cameron Hamilton leads. More problems for Aaron Johnson. He slides back to 9th, now 10th. 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks in the heat racing program. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Cameron Hamilton, Mitch Drunowski, Trevor Edwards left to sort this out for the top of the field. For the final transfer spot, Joel Smith trying to make his way in. He will do so. Cameron Hamilton will come home and take the checkered flag in heat race number 4. It'll be Hamilton, Drunowski, Edwards, Jeffrey, and Smith. And you know what? Keith Jeffrey, that is technically a top 5 now. So Keith, if you're listening, come by and get yourself an interview at the end of tonight's program. We'll talk to you. That is a top 5 for Keith Jeffrey and a transfer spot as well for driver number 88. That does it for heat racing action into the consolations. Here we go. Mentioned we have 2 consolation races, a C main and a B main. They'll transfer 4 cars each. That'll set up for 28 in the field. We'll add 1 from the LCQ, and then 1 provisional will be added between tonight and tomorrow. Let's take a look at the Lucky Performance starting grid for heat race, or not heat race, for consolation race number 1, the C main, if you will. On pole, how about Matt Rolfe, a Mainer himself, will roll off from first place in this consolation race, ahead of guys like Josh Cottle, RJ Williams, and Cody Kelly. A lot of talent up front in this one. Derek Robinson rolls off from 5th, Dante Curtis from 6th. Justin Crowe has got some speed. He starts 7th. Jake Brown from 8th. Then Corey Bodie, Josh Oswald, and Kieran Church. The rest of your 11-car consolation race or C main here this evening. one more look at those standings before we go racing here in the C main. Drivers to watch for that are in this one, certainly Justin Crowe, he's 6th in the standings. Matt Rolfe in 12th in the standings. Those were a couple of highlights for sure out of this consolation race. Can they advance? I mean, even Cody Kelly in 19th. Can they advance straight into the feature here from the consolation? And all of those drivers that advanced out of the heats, they are breathing a big sigh of relief now. For consolation race number 1, here we go. Green flag is in the air. We're racing in the C main. And this is why I kind of said you don't really need to panic if you don't advance out of the heats. You still got the consies to go through. The field broken down into groups of 11 or 10. And guys that should be in the feature tomorrow are already starting in transfer spots. Guys like Josh Cottle, RJ Williams, Matt Rolfe. They all start in your top 3 spots. They should be in the feature for sure. So they're starting kind of where they need to be. Cody Kelly has some work to do, though. He's on the outside of Derek Robinson and trying to move forward. And Cottle's falling back. He doesn't have a short run car. Here comes Derek Robinson on the inside of Josh Cottle. That'll put Robinson in a transfer spot. Cottle sliding back. Crowe moves on through to a transfer position. So problems for that number 13 car now, falling further and further backwards. He's now down to 6th. I just don't think he's got a short run car underneath him. See the battle behind Cody Kelly. He's got wins before in this national tour, so not good to see him this far back in a consolation race. He needs to be advancing in for his points situation. This is not looking good for Cody Kelly. It seems they have missed the setup over there in that 75 car. He is down now in 9th position. Not a good look right now for that 75 car, but out front, it is a great look for Matt Rolfe. Halfway down, halfway to go, and the SARA Templates number 0 is off to the races. Some really good lap times, pulling away from guys like RJ Williams and Derek Robinson. I mean, this is really good stuff out of this number 0. Putting together a very, very convincing C main here in that Ford Mustang. Rounding turns 1 and 2, Derek Robinson in the 3rd spot. Justin Crowe, the first car, I guess the final car that would be advancing. The first car out is Corey Bodie. He, of course, had bad luck there in that heat race. Got turned around by Derek Robinson. They were in the same heat. Now trying to face himself forward and get by this number 86 car. We're on board with him now. He's got Josh Cottle and Dante Curtis right behind, so some hefty competitors right there. 5 laps to go, this time by at the Oxford Plains Speedway for C main action. We'll be talking to a handful of drivers after these Concies and the LCQ. 3 or so drivers. As Corey Bodie goes by Justin Crowe. Beautiful setup to get by the 86 car. That's everything you need to do. Makes that pass look easy. looked so easy. I didn't even realize it was happening at first. Then suddenly they were swapping spots. Crow just got up out of the groove. 3 laps to go. This is the view from Corey Bodie's perspective. Cottle might come alive yet. Didn't have a great short run car, but eventually that 13 fired off and got going. Only 2 more circuits around the Oxford Plains Speedway, though. Only 2 more chances for that number 13 to get in the show. On board with him now. 1 lap to go. White flag is out. Brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Can Josh Cottle fight his way into the feature? He's got to do it down here in turns 3 and 4. Can he get there on Corey Bodie? The answer is going to be no. And Matt Rolfe goes way up the racetrack, but will still win C main number 1. It'll be Rolfe, Williams, Robinson, and Bodie that move on. First car out is Josh Cottle. He'll have to go through the LCQ. A lot of good cars in this one. This will be the B main. Consolation race number 2. Let's meet the Lucky Performance starting grid. On pole, Parker Traves in car number 60, Spencer Dickinson from position number 2. Starting third, it'll be Jake Sylvia. He was looking good in his heat race, just not quite good enough to advance straight on. Blake Thronberg here from the 4th spot. Steele Langford from 5th, Brad Carpenter from 6th. Kyle Souza, Aaron Johnson back in row 4. Then Matt Vorndran and Josh Parrish, followed up by Ethan Wolf. Going to be a lot of work for somebody like Ethan Wolf to get into the feature tonight, but we've seen crazier things happen. There he is. Needs a lot to go his way. Finally has a shot, finally has a chance here with the big guys. He's been talking about wanting an opportunity to go toe-to-toe with them. Welcomed in his son recently into the family. I believe about a year or so ago now, and ran the Sunshine Derby here on Pit Stop TV last winter. And boy, that was a very fun event. I really do appreciate Ethan for running it. He's looking to do the same thing here in 2025. Run the same event here on Pit Stop TV for a 2nd year, and Ethan's doing a lot of good things. Certainly want to see him make the show if at all possible. The Parker Traves will lead us to the green flag. It'll be Traves, Dickinson, Sylvia, and Thronberg starting this race from transfer positions. We'll turn the music down, turn the engines up, and go racing. This is the B main in the only short tracks Oxford 250. Langford down to the inside of Thronberg. This the battle for the transfer spot. Thronberg going to fall back. We've seen this though. Remember Josh Cottle there in the previous race. He didn't fire off great on the short run, but he came back later in the race. Can Thronberg maybe do that? As we've got problems there in the back. Aaron Johnson out in the grass. This race stays green. It has been a night to forget for Aaron Johnson. He's at risk of not making tomorrow's feature event. Oh my goodness. Racing for 3rd. Sylvia gets the spot. Dickinson 3rd. There's the caution. Spinner, it's Matt Vorndran. Back to see what happened with Aaron Johnson down here in turns 3 and 4. That's the number 78 from RKM. Vorndran got checked up. Ethan Wolf had nowhere to go, and that set the 78 spinning. From Ethan's perspective here, I mean, they check up on him in a hurry. Yeah, he had no way of expecting that. And then for Vorndran, racing here with Brad Carpenter, he got into Carpenter, looks like hopped the curb and went around. So back up to the front of the field under caution. These laps, of course, not counting. believe that was a caution-free C main, a caution now in the B main. Bit of a detour. Let's check the weather conditions brought to you by Cody Williams Design. Things have cooled down a little bit. The ambient temp is still pretty high. I mean, around 80 degrees. Not too warm. It's pretty... I mean, I'm sure a lot of places would take that in the middle of August, but I know I would. But regardless, a decently high track temp, 105 degrees out there, partly cloudy skies, nothing too crazy. Humidity, pretty manageable as well, 39%. As the top three will all choose the bottom, Traves, Dickinson, Sylvia. The first taker for the outside lane is going to be Steele Langford. So he will line up in second for this restart. And we'll send it back around this next time by Ethan Wolf. Going to choose the outside lane and go from the back to the front. He's going to restart sixth. Aaron Johnson right behind him. Here we go for the restart zone once more. Green flag back in the air. Traves leads the way. From high above, you see the transfer battle. It's Sylvia and Thronberg. One lap complete off the restart. Sylvia on the outside, Thronberg on the inside. That now swaps. Sylvia on the inside. Of course, the inside of the transfer battles. Thronberg has been on the outside the entire time, but Thronberg now on the outside looking in as far as a transfer spot goes. And Kyle Souza now working his way up here. He's into the sixth spot, looking down low of Thronberg. Ethan Wolf gets bullied up the racetrack by Aaron Johnson. Wolf goes way up high, comes back down there, and now in the eighth spot. Langford holding on to a transfer spot, but maybe not for long. Kyle Souza gets loose, one around maybe at the back. Ethan Wolf got free for a second, hang on to it. That's the best side-by-side racing on the racetrack right now. Josh Parrish, Aaron Johnson, Matt Vorndran, and Ethan Wolf back there. But for a transfer spot, look at this. Langford gets about into Sylvia. We talked about it earlier. Do you want to risk your spot in the show to get one more? I mean, I don't think so. I think you cut the guy ahead of you a break. If you are in a transfer spot, do everything you can to cut that guy a break. But at the same time, I get it. Langford wants insurance. He wants to move forward. Does not want to have to start towards the back of the field if he doesn't have to. As far as that driver of the day vote, I've got my 4 drivers in mind, so that vote will go live here after this consolation race. Make sure to watch out for that as Spencer Dickinson hunts down Parker Traves. This is the battle for the top spot as Brad Carpenter's around, and we will re-rack and restack them. This could change everything this late in a B main. With about 6 laps to go when we go back green, this could really change this race up. Let's watch this with Carpenter and Parrish at the back of the field. Parrish just gets into Carpenter, sends him around, and there's the contact and the spin. And they were decently high up there. I mean, Parrish is 7th now, so that was for the 7th spot. Here comes Carpenter, was looking at pit lane. There's pit lane for him. Comes down, gets some service, heads back out. Parker Traves will continue to lead. No choose just yet. Looks like we should get the choose this next time by. That'll line this field up for what may be the final restart of the night. And sure enough, here comes the choose. Traves, Dickinson low, Sylvia low. Langford going to go high. That worries me for Sylvia, and especially for Souza. Souza's going to go low and line himself up in 7th. This could be everything Blake Thronberg needed. Thronberg is going to jump to a transfer spot out of that. He was, I believe, 6th. Jumps up to 4th. So a very interesting choose between Sylvia and Souza, both taking the bottom and lining up towards the back of the field. I say back of the field, lining out of a transfer spot, I should say. Not back of the field, but further back than they were. Here we go. Restart zone coming up. Green flag back in the air. Traves with a big launch. Dickinson up the racetrack. That's going to open the door for the one down low. Sylvia, he gets turned. Caution's going to come back out. Sylvia around. And the Misfit Racing League #1 goes for a spin. Big shout out to them. They had an announcement recently. They will be hosting the official online All-American 400. I believe it'll be the All-American Esports 400. I think that's close to the name anyways. He got a big hit from Josh Parrish at the end of that. Sylvia just gets into Dickinson, gets a tap from Souza, and then backs up into Parrish. So a bad day gets worse for Josh Parrish. There's that number 55 there in the back of the field. Caudal chassis and privateer race parts adorning that Toyota Camry. He goes sliding around, and you know the damage isn't that bad, but the hit to his race and certainly his ego after this is going to be pretty severe. So Parrish will line up at the rear of the field. It'll be Parker Traves out front. Still Langford jumps to 2nd. That was a great choose for him. Where does he go this time? Traves low. Langford low. Who goes high? Dickinson low. Thronberg is going to go high. Johnson's going to go high. Hello, Aaron Johnson, and welcome to a transfer spot. Ethan Wolf is going to move up a bunch of spots too. An all-new look out front with Jake Sylvia at the back of the field. That takes out a big-time competitor to move on into the feature and allows Aaron Johnson to slide on in. I don't know. This is going to be interesting. 5 laps to go, and we go back green. B-main action wrapping up. 5 to go. And a big miss restart by the 33 of Langford. They battle through turns 1 and 2, down the backstretch. Side by side are Langford and Johnson. Dickinson there on the inside, Wolf on the outside. 1 lap complete off the restart, 4 to go. Dickinson working on Johnson, side by side now out of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, Ethan Wolf way out wide. Kyle Souza gets into the 112. This is the battle for the transfer spot though. Dickinson gets it. Johnson going to try and slide in underneath. Here's an opportunity. They both get loose. 2 laps to go this time by. They're both free. Johnson just squeezes his nose in there. Big side-by-side contact. Johnson sends the 6 up the racetrack. Here comes Kyle Souza. Contact to Dickinson. Edge of your seat racing to make the feature race. More contact around is going to go Dickinson. He's going to slide and just save it. There goes Carpenter. And they're smashing him up at the back. There goes Dickinson around. But Parker Traves will walk out of the B main a race winner. It'll be Traves, Thronberg, Langford, and Johnson. Aaron Johnson, after spinning at the beginning of the B main, will advance on in. He went around twice. I believe. And he still makes it into the show. What a last-ditch effort there out of driver 78. The choose went his way, and boy, howdy, what an effort. Now, we're going to have a bit of a warm-up here. This is going to be a 1-minute warm-up for guys to have a chance to kind of reset, get their setups changed if they need them, and dictate who is going out for the LCQ. Basically, if you haven't already been in the top 5 or top 4, depending on your race, you will have to go out for the LCQ. So these guys are doing some things manually here to make sure the field is set the way it needs to be. While they work on that, I want to take a look at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV. The Impel Motorsports National Tour, only short tracks, Oxford 250 is tomorrow night here on Pit Stop TV. Right back here at Oxford Plains Speedway. Tuesday and Thursday next week, a couple of big road course races for us. We go to the Chicago Street Course on Tuesday for the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. And then Thursday, it's out to Portland International Raceway for the North American Racing League with GT3 cars. Everything goes silent for a quick moment before we head out for the LCQ. Only one car will advance from this field. Before we get the lineup for the LCQ, I want to go through the drivers that are nominated for Driver of the Day, one of them being Alex McCullum. Hard to argue that when he dominated his heat race the way he did. So Alex McCullum, the first option for that vote. Cody Dempster going to be another in the number 24 car, so watch out for Cody Dempster. Gotta find him here on my list. There he is. There's Cody Dempster. And, oh, Aaron Johnson is, it seems like, being told to grid up. We thought he was in. He finished fourth. It was a 4-car transfer. Does he know that? Or it seems maybe Johnson being given a penalty, perhaps. I'm not sure what's going on. Anyways, Alex McCullum, Cody Dempster, their options for the Driver of the Day vote, as well as Matt Rolfe. And last but not least, Keith Jeffrey, an option for the Driver of the Day vote. Now, I'm inferring here. I'm doing some inference, if you will. Based on Aaron Johnson now going to the rear of the field, I'm going to guess that Race Control deemed he may have used some nefarious tactics, may have made some contact to get into a transfer spot, and so on the fly have promoted him to last. So he will grid up at the rear of the field for this race, for this LCQ. We won't have a graphic on screen because they technically are gridding up in 29th on back, but it'll be Josh Cottle, Josh Parrish, Dante Curtis, Ethan Wolf, Cody Kelly, Brad Carpenter, Justin Crow, Matt Vondran, I think that's right. Yeah, Vondran, sorry. Josh Oswald, and oh my gosh, I lost myself. Josh Oswald is in there. Jake Grout, Jake Sylvia. Anyways, here we go. We are going green flag racing. It is the LCQ. We are racing for 30 laps. Only one car will advance here from the LCQ tonight. This is a traditional, a true last chance qualifier. One more opportunity for these 10 drivers to make it into tonight's race, or tomorrow's race rather. Seems like scoring is taking a second to catch up with itself, because it is only showing the top 10. I'm not sure why. There we go. Okay, yeah, it's taking its sweet time to catch up. Now you see on down through Kieran Church in 14th spot. 14 cars going for one position here at the front of the field. Dante Curtis right on the back end of Josh Cottle. We well noted in Cottle's Consolation race that he did not fire off that great on the short run. So him holding up the front of the field here, I wonder how much pace is truly in these cars. So I'll tell you what, consider everything so far unofficial. I'm checking out some word from the drivers that there is a lot of stuff under review and maybe some drivers not being allowed to advance with the efforts they put in here tonight. So keep that in mind as the night goes on. It does seem like the results so far through the heat races and the consolations are unofficial. Eight laps complete this time by here in the LCQ. That means 22 laps to go. Josh Cottle, Dante Curtis, the battle at the front of the field. Josh Parrish sits in that third spot. Cody Kelly fourth. Justin Crowe fifth. And this field is unfortunately pretty stacked. A lot of great cars in this field. Some newcomers, some wily veterans. 10 laps complete this time by 20 to go. And I hate to see so many good drivers in this field because it means 13 of them are going home as Jake Grout is going to pull off and I think take it to the pit lane and call it a day. Just watching the one transfer spot right now. Cottle grabs the curbing there on the inside. Curtis sitting back, kind of biding his time. Again, and you know, we're seeing it kind of in effect with the Aaron Johnson situation. Contact is not going to be permissible. If you use contact to advance into the show, that will not be allowed. We didn't really catch what happened with Aaron Johnson. It's a little too far back now to get a replay of it. But obviously something happened that race control was not happy with, and they sent him to the rear of this field. He's going to need a couple of cautions to get into position to move on. And they will do that with anybody they feel like they need to. So in Dante Curtis' position, you've got to be really, really careful. And honestly, you're maybe hoping for this thing to go completely green so you can try to use the track changing over the course of the race to try to get by the 13 car, because you're going to need the track to change and the lines to open up halfway down, halfway to go across flags. You're going to need the line to change and the track to open up for you to get by this number 13, because Josh Cottle is well experienced. He's going to know how to lock down that bottom lane and make it hard for you to pass. So Dante, of course, he's been around a long time too. He's just waiting for the right time. So far, only 2 of you watching on YouTube have voted for Driver of the Day. Get those votes in. I went over the drivers that are in it at the beginning of this race. Alex McCullum, Cody Dempster, Keith Jeffrey, Matt Rolfe. They all had great performances in their heat races or consolation races. Get a vote in, as Ethan Wolf has brought it to the pit lane and Aaron Johnson now is off in the dirt. That is not where you typically want to see a race car. That will be a missed race now for the number 78 unless he gets a provisional to start at the back end of tomorrow's only short track Oxford 250. There we go. We got another couple of votes in. Keep those votes coming. YouTube chat, you're the only ones that can vote on it. Make sure to use that opportunity. Cottle loose. Here comes Curtis. Right to the inside. Dante Curtis going to take the top spot away. Josh Cottle now trying to find a way back. Gives him a shot in the shorts. And that was all with 10 laps to go. Now 9 left here in the LCQ. Dante Curtis going to take over from Josh Cottle and start to look up, waiting for that white flag to come out. A really solid effort by this number 03 from Matt Julis Speed Shop, Matt Julis C Speed Shop, and LeDuc Matthews Racing. It says he started 31st. If they had used the previous transfer positions and whatnot, he would have been the first car out of the top 30. He has now raced his way into where he needs to be to hopefully make this feature tomorrow night. Josh Cottle, of course, he's going for it in the standings. We know how big of a threat he can be for the championship. This would be a huge miss for him if he misses the show tomorrow. Josh Parrish, Cody Kelly is a big driver to miss the race if he does truly miss it. A lot of really great race car drivers, programs, setups are going to be missing this 30-car race tomorrow. Only one provisional. Not sure exactly who's going to be awarded that provisional just yet. 4 laps to go Caution is out for the first time all race long. Justin Crow and Matt Vorndran with problems. Justin Crow, I think, is going to be done. He's got a bunch of damage. Jake Sylvia on the inside of Crow. Here comes Spencer Dickinson as well. And Crow just tried to shut the door. Dickinson was down there and sent the 86 big time down to turn 1. And Vorndran just read it wrong and smashed right into the side of the 86 car. I'm surprised the 86 went up in the air like that. That was a big hit. Look here from the pit camera. There you see the contact. And there's the slide and spin for the Pedley's Garage number 86. Then boom, big hit. And immediately broke that left front. We'll watch this one more time. Look at it here. Dickinson just sent the 86 car, just got into him. Maybe he wasn't happy with the block, I'm not sure. And then a big hit for Crow. Vorndran just right into the left front tire. And here comes the choose. Dante Curtis down low. Josh Cottle down low. Watch out. Here comes Josh Parrish. He's taking a chance. He's going to the top side of the racetrack. This is going to be a fun couple of laps here at the end of this one. It'll be 3 laps to go. When we go back green, you see Parrish lighting up the rears, trying to warm up those tires and brakes. Getting ready for a 3-lap dash to the end. Of course, Curtis is going to have the advantage when we drop the green. Being that he's the leader, he gets to fire when he wants. But from there, what can Parrish, what can Cottle do? A couple of Joshes trying to upset Dante Curtis. Green flag back in the air. 3 laps to go in the LCQ. Sylvia to the inside of Parrish. He's through to 3rd. Cottle on the back end of Curtis. 2 laps to go in the LCQ. One and a half more times around the Oxford Plains Speedway. Josh Cottle right on the back bumper of Dante Curtis, looking for a way by. Only one transfer spot in this last chance qualifier. Can Josh Cottle get there? I think he's too far back now. And sure enough, Dante Curtis is going to walk out of Oxford Plains in the final transfer spot. He gets it done in the LCQ over Cottle, Sylvia, Kelly, and more. So Dante Curtis will tag the back end of the field. Checkered flag for car number 03, the final on the evening. And we will be talking to a few drivers here at the end of the program who had a good night, maybe a bad night, who knows, out around the racetrack. But a proper effort there out of Dante Curtis to hold on to it over Josh Cottle there in the final waning laps. We don't have a big results screen or anything to go over. Usually we would, so we'll wait for a couple of driver interviews. And we've already kind of paged Cody Dempster and Keith Jeffrey to the interview booth. So guys, if you're watching and listening, go ahead and join up. We've got Cody Dempster with us. Let's go ahead and bring in driver of the number 24. A solid effort for you, Cody. You hung on over one of the best, Cole Cabry, in your heat race. How in the world did you stay cool when he was breathing down your neck?
I don't really know. It's just the Cottle boys. We put a lot of work into this. We really honestly thought we were gonna really struggle heat racing, and then to go and beat one of the best first race with this new group. It's pretty cool. It's pretty impressive, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
And this Cottle chassis operation has just been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. What's it been like for you joining those guys?
It's a nice change of pace. I really enjoyed my time over with the RKM guys. I have a lot of friends over there still, but I'm really enjoying my time. I've been over here for about a month now, and this is my first SARA race with them, and it's really refreshing. It's a great group of guys. Everyone has the same drive and the same passion to go win races, try and be better every moment. I mean, we were even spitballing ideas in between heat races of just what we thought it needed, just trying to make it better and better and better. So it's really cool to be with a bunch of guys that have the same drive and same passion to go and just keep trying.
And what's the overall goal for you tomorrow? Of course, winning is always the ultimate goal. You always want to win these races, but what would you be happy with? What would you consider a success in this race tomorrow?
Oxford is one of my least favorite tracks. I always tend to run here but it tends to be one of my least favorite tracks. I really ultimately finish the race, finish on the lead lap. I think a top 5 would be a really, really good night for us. I mean, even with some of the really good guys not making the show, it's still a stout field of cars any which way you look at it. So if we go and finish the top 5, that'd be awesome. You know, obviously we always want to win the thing, but you know, just P's and Q's, keep it in line, and make sure you have the fenders on it at the end.
You touch on that subject of a lot of great guys missing this race. Any teammates maybe you're surprised to see miss the show, and is there anything you can do to help them next time out?
Honestly, and it's all kind of up for review. You know, boss man Josh didn't make the show. You know, he kind of got moved there, so it's kind of up in the air on, you know, does post race do anything about it? I think we know that Parrish is going to get the provisional. Other than that, I think we all kind of got what we expected, other than Spike. May that man and his hopes and dreams rest in peace of making the show.
Well, that's Cody Dempster out of the great state of Colorado missing the LCQ because he already advanced through the heat race. Great job in your heat race, Cody. Congratulations, and hopefully we're talking to you at the end of tomorrow night.
Hopefully so. Thank you much.
Cody Dempster getting it done here this evening over Cole Cabry in a very, very solid performance there a little while ago. Waiting on a couple of more drivers to jump into the interview booth, waiting on Keith Jeffrey, and there he is. We'll grab Keith Jeffrey. And Keith, there's been this kind of running joke, right? If you got a top 5, we'd talk to you. Well, technically, in your heat race, you got a top 5. We won't count it, but we wanted to get a word with you anyway. You're up for Driver of the Day vote. First of all, what was your heat race like?
Stressful, man. I haven't had the prep I wanted this week. Fortunately, the boys gave me a badass piece, and I was just able to kind of make smart decisions there, no mistakes, and put it in the show. So I'm pretty happy about that.
And a lot of guys ended up missing the show here this evening. Any thoughts there? I mean, a lot of heavy hitters not making it into the race tomorrow.
I think that's just a testament to how stout this field is, and we added some new guys this week that haven't been running with us, and a lot of them prove they belong here. It's just a place to be. A lot of good cars. It sucks for them. I wish guys like Jinx and Cody Kelly, like, they deserve to be racing, but that's what we got to work with, and other guys went and took it tonight. So hats off to them.
And if we look at the schedule graphic here on the screen, a lot of great races, marquee events across the world of late model racing. We've already got 3 in the books, 1 tomorrow night, but is there one of these final 5 that you are looking at as maybe your best opportunity to go up there and get your best finish?
The Fall Brawl is always the one I circle. I struggled with it for years. I feel like I put myself in some good spots last year, and I think I finished 10th, so I'd like to improve on that, because that's the one everyone cares about, right? That's the one everyone wants to go win. So that's definitely the one I've got my eyes on. And then Southern National, I always loved the likes of that. So that track I've got my eyes on. So looking forward to that one too. But definitely the Fall Brawl, what Matt does with that race is pretty special. So would love to go run good there, and I think we got a chance.
Well, Keith, it's good to talk to you. Graphics, I guess they've decided they're out of here for the night, but good to talk to you, Keith, and hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Thanks for pulling me in here, Andrew. I appreciate it. Do a great job. Hopefully we're talking to you tomorrow.
That's Keith Jeffrey in the number 88. Advanced straight through the heat race. That's the way you want to get it done, Keith Jeffrey. getting his job done here this evening. Let's bring those graphics back up at least to close this broadcast out. We might be waiting on Jacob Harberts. We'll see if he's able to join us in the next minute or two. Jacob, your time is running out, as we've also got that driver of the day vote coming to a close in just a moment. So once we get these graphics fired back up, we will go ahead and I see Jacob down there now. Let's go ahead and bring him in. This is going to be Jacob Harberts, driver number 80. A decent showing for you out front of your heat race. How'd it go?
Perfect. Honestly, the night, well, near perfect. We had 5 out of our 6 cars transferring to the show so far. Pending post-race review, we'll have to see what happens. But with Alex on pole, me second, couldn't have gone any better for the both of us. It was a little bit scary for Steele and Blake, but they got in through the Consi races. And like I said, we'll have to see what happens with the 03. I know there's a little bit of contact in the race, but there was contact in some of the other races too, so maybe we'll get some offsetting penalties. You never know.
Yeah, so of course we only get so much. We only see what happens on the racetrack. We don't get everything that's going on. So what are the other storylines that maybe we missed with some of the penalties and whatnot going around the racetrack?
So in the heat race that Dante was in, the 13 got in the back of his left rear entry to turn 1 and kind of wiggling up the track, which is generally against SARA rules. So we'll just have to see. There were some checkups involving collisions in the turn prior, so that had a lot to do with it. But we'll just see. In the last chance race, Dante wasn't trying to get him. They made contact coming out of the corner, so we'll just have to see what the ruling is. There's obviously the rule is no contact to pass someone, but I guess in my opinion, if you get into someone coming out of the corner, it's a little bit different than hitting them on entry. So we'll see.
And of course, Alex recently joining your guys' program was a huge boost for you guys. Clearly, he has got the stuff that he needs to get it done. What's that been like, just adding somebody so good to your program?
Oh, it's been great so far. I mean, since we started working together again, we both been at work. It's not just me or just him. We're both putting in the time and making these cars fast. So when we combined our knowledge, that at least so far seemed to be the little bit extra we both needed to get ourselves back out front.
Well, best of luck. It looks like Alex is just going to miss out on the driver of the day vote for tonight, but an opportunity for all you guys over at CFM to go for it tomorrow night. Best of luck. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Jacob Harberts, a solid night at the office for him as well in his heat race, and it will be none other than Matt Rolfe taking the driver of the day vote. Couldn't quite get it done in his heat race, came through the Consolation, but dominated that first Consolation race on the evening, the C main, and he will make it into the show this evening. He wins the driver of the day vote, so props to Matt. Getting it done here on, technically it's day 2, but for us at Pit Stop TV, it's day 1 of the only short tracks Oxford 250. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a hefty program this evening with the late model stocks on the racetrack earlier, super late models on later, and it all comes to a close now, ready to go for tomorrow's feature event. A big thank you to the All-Pro Late Model Tour, Cody Williams Design, Corey Bodie Motorsports, Crow Sims Shots, Davis Chassis Works, DriverTees.com, Dylan Bates Racing, Fast AF Designs, Hides Pride Leather and Sheepskin, International Short Track Association, Matthews Designs, 1-8 Coffee Company, 1-8 Racing Media, Patriot Media and Marketing Services, Pedley's Garage Incorporated, Pierce Fleet Service, RaceOneWraps.com, RJW21 Management, RS Center Trucking, SARA Next Gen Templates, SimRepMarket.com, Toxic Media Solutions, and Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes. A big thank you to our partners, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League. Next up for us, it is, of course, the Oxford 250, tomorrow night, brought to you by Only Short Tracks. It'll be a lot of fun. Do not miss it. Of course, if you watch tonight, you're probably watching tomorrow night, but anyways, don't miss it. Going to be a very fun night of racing here at the virtual Oxford Plains Speedway. Going to be one to watch for sure. Then next Tuesday, we head out to the Chicago Street Course for the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. NASCAR Cup Cars, street course racing, going to be a bunch of fun. Of course, that track no longer on the NASCAR calendar after 2025. Maybe it comes back in 2027, but it won't be on the schedule next year, replaced by San Diego. So you definitely want to get a look at this broadcast on Tuesday. And then we head out to another track leaving the NASCAR calendar. It'll be leaving the NASCAR O'Reilly. Hang on. This is a new one. The NASCAR O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series schedule. That's weird to say. It'll be leaving that schedule next year. Portland International Raceway here on iRacing Now. We'll be going there for the very first time here on the channel on Thursday, a week from tomorrow, for the North American Racing League. You can watch all these broadcasts and more on our platforms down below. We broadcast to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We post our updates to Facebook, Instagram, and X, and we post to TikTok on occasion as well. Make sure to follow us on all those platforms down below and check in with Pits.tv everywhere on the internet. Thanks for watching this evening. A big thank you to Zach Murtis, who joined me for the opening portion of tonight's broadcast. It was a pleasure having him on as always. We'll be ready to go for tomorrow night's only short tracks Oxford 250 for the Impel Motorsports National Tour. It'll be race 4 of 8 for the season. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you all tomorrow night for the big race, the 250 here at Oxford. We'll see you then.